Welcome to Bilingual History. Bienvenidos a la historia bilingüe. For today's lesson, we are learning about the first 13 colonies in North America, las primeras 13 colonias. We will learn the Northern or New England colonies, the Middle colonies, and the Southern colonies. Let's start by reviewing what is a colony. A colony is a country or area under control of a different country. Un país o área bajo el control de un país diferente. For example, the first 13 colonies in America were under control of the King of England. Las primeras 13 colonias en América estaban bajo el control del rey de Inglaterra. We are going to start with the Northern or New England colonies, las colonias del Norte or Nueva Inglaterra. These colonies were New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Now we are going to learn the characteristics of the Northern or New England colonies. Ahora vamos a aprender las características de las colonias del Norte o Nueva Inglaterra. They had cold climate, clima frío, rocky soil, suelo rocoso, small family farms, pequeñas granjas familiares, fishing and shipbuilding, pesca y construcción naval, religious communities, comunidades religiosas. In the north, the climate was and still is colder than other parts of the country because of the rocky soil. They only had small family farms. Their economy was based on fishing and shipbuilding. And as we learned in a previous lesson, their communities were based very strongly in their religion. All right, let's continue with the middle colonies, las colonias medias. We have New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. The characteristics of the middle colonies. Grain farms, the breadbasket, granjas de cereales, el granero. Farms and industry like furs, granjas e industria como pieles. Diversity of people, languages, and cultures. Diversidad de personas, idiomas y culturas. In the middle colonies, because of the climate, grains grew very easily and still do. Therefore, they had lots of grain farms, granjas de cereales, especially wheat, trigo, and they actually earned the name the breadbasket. However, they also had industry, and specifically trading furs was very good for the economy. And because of where these colonies are located, there were many people from many different countries that came to live in the middle colonies. Habían muchas personas de muchos países diferentes que vinieron a las colonias medias. And finally, we have the southern colonies, las colonias del sur. Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. The characteristics of the southern colonies are warm climate, clima cálido, big farms called plantations, grandes fincas llamadas plantaciones, slavery, esclavitud, cash crops like tobacco, rice, cotton, indigo, cultivos comerciales como tabaco, arroz, algodón, indigo. Because of the warm climate in the south, people had lots of farms, muchas granjas. Unfortunately, many people in the south used slaves in order to cultivate those farms and not have to pay their workers or treat them well. Desafortunadamente, habían muchas personas en el sur que usaban esclavos para cultivar sus granjas porque no querían pagar sus trabajadores y no querían tratarlos bien. And because there were these big plantations, the southern economy was based on these cash crops. La economía del sur estaba basada en estos cultivos comerciales. Quiz time! Let's review. What is a colony? ¿Qué es una colonia? An area or country under control of a different country. Un área o un país bajo el control de otro país. Which country was in control of the original 13 colonies of North America? ¿Cuál país tenía el control de los 13 colonias originales de América del Norte? England. What are the 3 regions of the 13 colonies? ¿Cuáles son las 3 regiones de las 13 colonias? Northern or New England, Middle, and Southern. Here we have the Northern or New England colonies: New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. What were the characteristics of the Northern or New England colonies? ¿Cuáles fueron las características de las colonias del Norte, Nueva Inglaterra? Cold climate, rocky soil, small family farms, fishing and shipbuilding, religious communities, grain farms, the breadbasket, farms and industry like furs, diversity of people, languages, and cultures, warm climate, big farms called plantations, slavery, cash crops like tobacco, rice, cotton, indigo. The answer is the first 5 characteristics: cold climate, clima frío, rocky soil, suelo rocoso, small family farms, granjas pequeñas familiares, fishing and shipbuilding, pescando y construyendo barcos, and religious communities, comunidades religiosos. All right, now we have the middle colonies: New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. What were the characteristics of the middle colonies? ¿Cuáles fueron las características de las colonias medias? We have the same list of characteristics here as the previous question. Tenemos mismo lista de características de pregunta previa. And the answer is grain farms, the breadbasket, farms and industry like furs, and diversity of people, languages, and cultures. Finally, we have the southern colonies: Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. What were the characteristics of the southern colonies? ¿Cuáles fueron las características de las colonias del sur? The answer is the final 4 characteristics: warm climate, big farms called plantations, slavery, and cash crops like tobacco, rice, cotton, and indigo. Many of the characteristics of the 13 colonies still hold true today. Muchas de las características de las 13 colonias todavía están verdad hoy. But obviously, some things have changed. Pero obviamente, algunas cosas han cambiado. In our next lesson, we will be learning about the early forms of government in the colonies. Para la próxima lección, vamos a aprender las formas tempranas de gobierno en las colonias. Thanks for watching. Gracias por ver.